Are you the one presenting the night?
No, sir. I am not. That would be, I'm an apiary manager, and we did the 4-H. I took some pictures, so I got some 4-H pictures in there, some other pictures and some nice stuff. So I'm gonna throw it up there. I think that's just as Burke will be doing the drone presentation tonight. Yeah, that just let them roll. That way people got something to look at. Thank you. Just feel free to snatch it out, or you tell me when and how. So I think I might put Liberty in one.
Yeah.
Yeah, where you want to put the chairs out.
No, that looks good to me.
Okay, and
Can we put this, when you walk in, where they just walk right into? I appreciate it.
so, I took
Well,
some
I
pictures.
mean, I think so.
I took some pictures, and I stole Drake's in my car. Put some of my pictures up.
When they spend my game on it, every one person.
What's the rate, man? So if I talk like this, I'll know.
I know this is ours. You need to write.
No, the pressure switch is right on top. And see if it immediately jumps the red, it's not gonna push. All right.
You got to look all right.
Right there.
You want to say?
Yes, it's going to be reaching. Yes, it's just if it's done that, that's because it's all we had product. So when you push it in there, you don't have to attack it's right there at the dead end. It's a chair. It's a green yellow and you'll see the arm moving to tell you whether it's. I'll let you go. If it's not.
What?
That's gonna be.
Can't hear you.
So there's nothing you can do with it. Yes, if it immediately goes to read it, it's like on the three, it's already too high. It's already.
She's in the kitchen.
Right, that door is locked.
The door locked?
No.
Come on, I
Actually,
said.
you ain't gonna be able to do nothing.
I'm here to warn you now, you ain't gonna like the smell. I don't know who taught that woman how to cook. Wow, great. I'm gonna stay here, I'm gonna stay here.
Oh, I know. You ain't gonna know like that? Okay. Yeah, we have, I haven't worked on this one, I mean, I don't have worked. Okay, good. All right, okay.
Work problems?
Yeah,
No such thing, man, you got it.
oh, can you tell me where that charger is?
Yeah, it's in the closet.
Oh, charge for what?
The 12-volt battery charger for come on.
No, I gotta get, it's in the storeroom,
Yeah.
I gotta get, Sam.
Well,
What happened, you all or no all?
No, neither, it's a long battery.
Oh, yeah, for the, battery power.
Yeah.
I know where it's at, I played with it before.
I need to check this out. Okay.
probably need to buy a new.
But that was from 19. Short footnote. Load test, I went out on that.
Oh, we'll load test it here in a few minutes.
I can go to it.
I almost broke one out here.
We got one, I ain't gonna do that. Live and learn.
See her big out there with there? She gone. It used to work really clean. Thank you, John. Big comment on that. Really, really.
This is the next one.
Movie.
I take this one off.
Movie. Just an empty box.
Yeah.
I'd like to get it. Look at him. 4A. Yep. Heck yeah. Gotta get him involved, man. I like to do that. Hey. Ain't working enough today? I took off 1 o'clock, so I feel kind of like worthless. Yeah. I woke up at 3:15, I'm like, oh, I didn't. So, think, well, you showed me how to do it, times when I was here before. I just grabbed 2 minutes. Two's the trick. Especially for me, I'm too old, I don't need to be doing that. I think he's already got it. Man, I sure appreciate that.
No problem.
You okay if I leave that bracket table out, I'm gonna set this right here on the side?
That's fine.
That way I don't have to dig back out every time I put them up. Just grab it, okay.
That you use the rectangular tables, you wouldn't have to put nothing up tonight.
Oh, that was you?
They like the round tables.
Oh, yeah, yeah. They roll out, that's pretty easy.
The carts roll, you get one person on each side, you can flip them off on either side.
Yeah.
And just keep rolling. It's the way you've got to pull those round tables out and wedge them back in. They're a pain.
I didn't mind it.
You have to do as much as we do. You mind it.
Especially you got them flat tables, that you got them for just right.
I'll tell you another trick, if you leave the chair on these, they're easier to steer. Yes.
It's easier to see.
That way you're gonna take care of it.
Perfect, thanks, sir.
There you go. That ain't hot yet, we ain't looking for forecast for Sunday.
That's hot, sure.
You know, like,
No, let's just put this up here, because we don't want to see.
you know, it's hard now, right?
You can, and there's gloves in there, you can come out and get someone who wants to use.
But you really care about the bail right now?
No, not really. Most of the beekeepers are not on the just today. But there's vinyl gloves down there. That box, that's 486 for ours. But my point is, these things of vinyl gloves, they need to go down and pop them in the paper, because they won't use their words. Now, you know, this is ours. Yeah, I knew it was ours. I didn't know what it was talking about. You know what I mean? Hey, man. That's why I need to drag it out here. It's all good. Man, that charger is what it's like, right? Just this one. We got it here. I just like to place you. I was gonna move that.
I was gonna put it back together. I wanna see what it looks like inside. Is that easy?
Is that top layer?
I'm gonna let you back. I didn't know what I had to do like. No, I'm not questioning what you got. I wanted to see. Oh, that's fine. He didn't, but I didn't know. You paid that like the whole year.
So this is the new big wax, the what?
Yes, sir, yes, sir. We'll be starting here shortly. Right, everybody's
For the new beekeepers?
Yes, sir. And you will see. These are the three measures. Stuff is in the box. So that's the three measure. Sign it out. You do. That way you. Sitting somewhere. So that you can tell me. So that you can wait. All possible, yes. And the only way you're gonna really know is to have somebody go do it. Watch this way. You see, but see, you can put that out there, just like the lights, what lights are going on? We are. Back on my block porch. I go to the back.
So you group in the rack?
Usually.
I was thinking about maybe a neck tie or something like that. It's cool, right? It's gonna go up anyway, right? They're gonna go back in there. So how long does it last? That like instant? I ain't really, don't you remember that? Never done.
You put it on, and what happens? I'll do a treatment every 7 days.
For 4 weeks.
I'll do 4 treatments. That's a complete group cycle plus. That way, anything planted in the eggs or under the egg, that's not hatch out and I kill them. That way, that's, some people say do 3 to 5 day intervals. So it's cheap.
If you can't hurt the bees,
Well, I mean, I think you might, what you can do is two birds, what you do. You might do the That's why I check around my treatments. Before that bird. But this is a very good one to get right in the winter time with these. If they're very lowest fruit. Around here, it's See what group.
Oh, I'm not right, well, you're wrong.
That's what I'm saying, so. And that's what kind of,
This is that.
to understand, you know.
You want to put the table right here?
I'm thinking we may want to. Yours, did you bring yours in? I was wondering.
You just want to say it's on that car? No, I don't want to touch the car in case we need something. I ain't mad, it's one right here.
Don't need it.
We go, this is the bag of vehicles, easy, that right there, my face.
That way you sit there and explain it. We can bring this red box in here, show them what's in it. Yeah, like I said, it's everything except the bottom.
All the stuff is out of the way, so you know.
Because what I was telling you is, since we're gonna have to do, papers, they can be explained. Okay, this is what he's doing, this is what he's doing. And I was trying to go over some of the things with you. I'll give it to you. Okay, if you don't mind.
That's fine, I just want you to see it now.
If not, I do.
I forgot to go checks. Property deeds, which.
They smell something.
Official property, no, it's a closed box, it's a closed box. Well, that's as cute as it can be.
And here where it is. They show them the two you putting in rules. Now, I took the little one that was over there, that's what they should do. Measure what they're doing.
Thank you, bag. We got another big one.
Yes.
Oh, this is for that.
Yes.
That's just only for the
Lawn.
lawn.
And there's the battery, which will be outside. You won't have it. But like I say, this way they can just say, okay, this is how this works, this is how that works. Okay, right now we're doing this. Oh, this is other stuff.
Yeah, I mean, what do you mean? Everything like that? You walk out the ball guy, and my son says, no.
See what I myself in the walk. Still, I did this, and I went with the walk, because it was 20 volt versus everything else is 18.
And they're all so bad.
The ones out there,
Everything. I really think so.
I still walk.
I've got a lot of hard free. And
What you're doing.
but I got the Hercules on it, 6 feet.
Truck shop. Rebuilding. Patrols. I need to, have our own. Very long. Straight out.
Yeah. No, I was talking about this.
Yes. Yeah, now, the radiator there, that's right on, which I use right over. So, I'll be keeping it on there, it's all those. All right.
Well, I'll tell you, I had problems a long time ago. And I didn't like that reaction. I moved 40 feet like that. What I made to do is walk around the line, stare at the corner. No, you can't.
You see her neck out down to there? She gone. It used to walk really quick.
If folks get $25.
And there was a little black lady there, and she's got like $27 for the hand to her. Oh, she's just so happy. I made her day. Awesome. So I just love her. And, these are for
Pre-measured, and I tried to show you where pre-measured, so he can say, now, he's already pre-measured. And this is what he's gonna do.
Yeah, there's something else, that one, the hard for us.
Every time I'm out, you're unusual, which is, I'm not trying to do it.
No, what I'm saying is at one time, and so what I always do 2 grams and go right back and do 2 more.
And see, the other thing is,
No, well, if there's wax hanging down there and you stick it in the wax. Yeah.
that the other thing is, that, you know, that company, it now is producing 2 gram tablets. That's a,
Well, they get around Canada, they have.
I know, they're finally approved. And just tablet. That was my.
Actually, if I had one of those, they didn't have one of these. I'd buy one of these just to do my memory with. I mean, that's what's so fast about this thing is function. Kind of notion, right?
When you go up the pole,
Yes, yes.
just up the pole. It's like John said, I got you.
And so I keep those. And
Oh, 6:30. Like, the week till 6:30.
cool. And all the
See,
she came and got everything I had.
that's good that you got to do for her. See, I was,
And
right after you put it out, I had already called Chris, like, I'm back.
Well, mine were used.
Okay.
They were,
He did know it was me, so I rolled up.
they really all of it. I got it. You're out now? You don't have to worry about it. And that blow you out. You can leave your.
But it was, when I did it, took the class, see, I would be there early, and I was there 2.5 weeks. So I wanted to be, you know, I hadn't started, I was here on the Saturdays, and I'm, so, the only way you know.
I guess you were come by and do that shit. And I told him, shut up, you can drive it. Then we were down in your Bronte and I mean, hundreds of trucks,
The old little yellow, your products,
and we got in there, and they got we understand what was going on. Because I felt like time they got the shoes on it, and then 4 or 5 times.
See the pond we done that?
There's a little pond down there. Water in there. Sit. I thought that was it might be, if the whole water, that'd be good. Oh, the sea.
so it's probably just a old. So this is.
Let me go make some copies. The gym. Y'all want to touch base with animators or something?
I do love so.
She signed up.
understand.
We're talking about my cup.
She's like,
You sign her paycheck, sir, you don't have to call.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
You beat that one, yes, sir.
okay. I'll be here in a minute.
You good? Deep and hollow. I'm gonna make this fight.
Speak now, so I might not get a chance later. So is this y'all's first?
Yes.
Yep.
Well, good, I'm Jay.
Treasurer, one of the year managers.
Okay.
I'm Ken.
I signed up for Hydro Heroes in Evan. Be my man. So, just got thrown into it. They gave me a hive and everything, because someone was giving up all the hives. So, learn as they go. Try to look for some classes, but see like all the classes are full.
Yeah, there will be another in Johnston Community College in the fall. That's fine. Chris Hagley, the member here, he's president of the Wake County Club. He owns 6 people. Going. He teaches the class. Okay. He knows his stuff. He's retired law enforcement. Okay. I said there's a lot of experience here. That's one of the things I would say. Deal with how you're doing,
Right. Oh, I heard that.
But also, they say one question for different answers.
Probably none wrong with we offer 8-year days, but we're down in our high school. Usually it's twice a month. The days there'll be a sign up sheet that goes out. Goes out. So if you register as a member on the website, everything, you'll get on that email.
I have to sign up. I went online and they let me pay here.
No, you pay on
I thought before it said something, but I gotta pay here.
no, either way, it's fine. That's right. He's got his stuff on his computer, maybe he's working on that. If not, we can do it.
I said, what about you? Yes, if we get the service, we're about.
So basically, you're on Facebook, right?
No,
It's
it's
left.
left.
Left foot. Then your right, you gotta pick your right foot
I
up.
know.
Right, you're telling that, yeah. Go, you Well, you know, good. Not good.
I think there's nothing out there for that. Wow. You used to walk right through.
That's okay. Yeah.
So it's Johnston County Beekeepers Association. I'll look up for them. All right. No, that's fine. I'll look right here. She's like, she don't want to.
Yeah, and she wants nothing to do with it until I start looking at money. And then she's like, can I get so and so? Can I get so and so? I said, well, I'm not sure know about that. And she was one of my best customers. She learned. I'm not gonna get out there and see it. Yeah. And then she did all my work. Don't make me kill it. You don't have.
No, well, yeah.
Just like from, yeah, I would say, you want to go back.
Okay. Oh, yeah. I definitely want to keep it just $20.
Oh, Russ Clash.
Yes, that's it.
When you're always doing things,
I just, she likes it for what little we know. She's been really interested in the knowledge. She doesn't want to get near. But I tell her, you're gonna get stung. It's your fault.
my wife's learned now. She said, kids can say, she said, I just so great. I'm all her.
But do you wear a suit?
One day. I get in there. She does it for kids smoking back down. She don't do that when it's too. She does it. I mean, definitely. That's why she will. Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's a lot of work. I tell you.
Yeah.
That's like. I was given Chris and so we took over his house. We've been close to weeks. And he's got more. And it's definitely worthwhile.
Another season.
Oh, really? Yeah. She was way out of the that's what I'm worried about. I'm learning what I want to decide to do. Yeah. I'm so queen. I want to do money. And my yard and just whatever, you know. We live you know, really environmental levels, right? It's no interest 15. Yeah. And give you that. Oh, we do. So we need to click all this stuff. How you doing, buddy? Jay. Just starting. I'm Jay. Nice to meet you. You saw
First day I ran. Oh, it's not staying.
Right. That's basically. We live, she wants to. 40. Please, and others, they're like, this is over here. Oh, that's straight here. Straight. Okay. Yeah, we live.
Everybody that's interested in this pay basis, so come on over here. Hannah's ready to. And where I'll still ask treatments.
Alright, so Nick is gonna tell us how to use the one first.
Yes.
See her head out there over there? No. Just walk really clean.
As long as they're. There. Okay. I don't know, this is good information. Yeah, this thing is crazy. I don't know what they don't want. Speak already 3 minutes before you come.
Okay. I need to lay in house. And that is a.
It can be anything.
Okay.
The only
county needs to do that. So you got, kids in one house, you got 10 kids.
Prior to when we started this up, you need to light a smoker, or something that sets close by, so you know the direction of the wind. You do not want to stand out in. But this organization, is fog, you will stay away from that. Even though you're wearing a respirator, it's still going to stay like that. You can wear a respirator. The little kids come to the one, you're advised to wear it.
If y'all have any other issues on here,
All right, and then the next thing that now when you use it, I would recommend using the respirator for this and the one, but you actually use this. Yes. There's very now, they didn't probably argue. Right, so I also wear a face shield. Some people don't always wear a face shield, but I just do. Your eyes. Yes. I have guides here for how to do things, if you want them. This is for your respirator. Yeah. Right, so you can intubate now. This is where you're going to put the oxygen acid. And then right here, this. Every little arrow is a gram. Now, if you're doing a full size hive, that's 2 boxes or more, you can do 4. But if you just have a single hive box, you want to. So you'll see how fast this is. You just put it in, there it goes. Now, some of them you have to hold it in there like these. Other times, sometimes it's just depends on the board. The bottom board that you have, sometimes I can still walk away. manual says that you should, I never have, but you can, I think it's optional. If you have is where you feel on the back, like you use a towel, this gets really hot, so I was worried about burning it.
And then there's a hot wall.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm making sure that's empty. I usually leave it in until it's, yeah. Yep. So what will happen is on this reader, there's gonna be, different numbers. The number down here is gonna be preset, 205. That's the temperature that it is. The temperature that it's going to. The up top is the temperature. Okay, so once it's so this is what it's set to, you have two. And this is what it's needed at. So if you wanted to start it, then you just would. Yeah. Yeah, this is just faster.
This is some of the best.
Yeah, this is something that we were talking about, that we were interested in getting, we'll check out. That's why we can kind of show how you rate it. The most important thing with this is it's a lot faster, but you need to make sure you're restoring. So then once I were to push the button to turn it on, you would see all the way up to 444, then I would put this in. So I wouldn't put this in until it's all the way heated up. And then once it's all the way heated up, I'll push this, push the oxalic acid down into it, and then you'll see the number drop, because I mentioned something that's fluid. And then it will continue to go up until it's all the way back up. Once it heats all the way back up again after I introduce the oxalic acid, that means that it's done. So I just keep it in there until I see something that's going to come out. Love it. One thing I will have to say is that you have to excavate. The best thing is to buy more, depending on how many hives you have, one batch is now more hives per there, then the better. Run out. So.
You see her head out down there? God, you bring her up big.
Yeah, oh, no, we don't have one yet, just one wants to get rid of it. We got to see.
So you're changing batteries or it's all you have to wall?
It's what is called for, you buy a specific focus.
Oh,
So
we have to wall those
and
times.
then the wall,
All over the home.
your vision, whatever, they have all the different ones.
I put it. So you're gonna treat the chronic crow, you not gonna be able to trigger it, just to give the pipe treatment. The reason I would believe is, I would maybe use this is an charge on the bees for the crow. Yes, and it doesn't sit on the. I've had those issues with the hot. The difference is chlorine crow like inside the cell, this does not. So that's why you need to treat regularly. You have to do patching, you have to do. I like to carry this treatment with a free break.
You know,
Something to slow down, or let's say you cause they got cat food. So, or whatever you do, you're watching the kid, you're replacing the old queen, so should you, if you're gonna do that, you're gonna wait for that. Close action. That's a great one.
let's do that in a minute.
I should have run the thing that gave me something like that.
a pretty cool presentation of that. Watch the slides.
I can show you what the option is. You'll have to buy your own. This is some that John buys in full, but you'll have to buy your own to make it work.
Well, yeah, they might check.
Yeah, but people that come from, what do they do? I mean, it's,
If you have a high mark, this is not back.
My brother's side, and I had down in, and before I got the towel in place, gust of wind came up, and I thought I had my breath, closed without a respirator, and I just like couldn't catch my breath, and it was awful. It felt like my lungs getting crystallized. But I thought it was,
and then that's another thing about here at home. When I just pulled this up for the demonstration, there's still residue of gas. So if I had access to things like that, you just want to get your respirator on and looking sort of before you start dealing with it. And then there's also things that comes up here without needing it. It's really let it cool down once it gets below a certain temperature. You can just use water in there and, yeah, so it's super. Yeah. Yeah, it's North Carolina. All right, any other questions? Oh, you wanna do every 5 days, correct?
They're for queen release.
But yeah.
That's it, oh, John.
That have information on respirators, maybe. Yeah,
You know, come out. Yes, the low. If they're not ready for it, it's still. So we instructions. All the way to this one. So we had to go. Straight shot. So we came back. We got I swear to you, we cannot find the receipts. How are you? Take care.
Yeah. I got
There we go. Everybody get it, shut it up.
Where's the 20 on? Yeah.
Okay, it's 7 o'clock.
Consider, here we go.
Okay, stop that. Everybody, tell me, first thing on our agenda is site plan allegiance. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. So let's see a couple, maybe 3 new faces over there. Can you raise your hand if you remember? Oh, that's cool. We'll go around and let us know your name and what area of the county you're in, and are you a new beekeeper, an existing beekeeper, how many hives do you have, things like that. So let's start with, you have Richard.
Well, my name is Matt Knudsen. I'm just learning. I just came here. I know Nathan. I helped Nathan on the project in the area. I'm up near like the 42 and 40 area. So just curious, and hopefully I can get into this.
And worst case, in this first year of learning, with our period, it's a good chance to learn things.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, who, you were,
Everybody, Matt Sanders, I've been a member for 3 years, but this is my first meeting with the board. And we had 3 hives, we dwindled down to 1, and we split the 1 and then we got 2 hives. We just harvested our first honey 3 weeks ago.
cool. Good to see you. Back in your work schedule. Your work schedule.
Yeah.
Good.
I'll be here now.
And green.
My name is Jay Sisson, doing this for 5 years. Got my mentor at it. I got roped into the beehive, when someone that, Tony was giving up his hives. So I got a hive and getting some, playing with that some, and, so we're brand spanking. So
What area did you
breed the bees from, dummies. So waiting for a class to come up so I can do the class. And my wife, trying to get her into this, but she's being really, I'm in East Crossroad.
East Crossroad. It seems like maybe one more.
Aaron Paul, I ran the Odyssey in Johnston County, in Meadow on the Midville line there. And, I like to get a high average, we just have around that.
Great.
Maybe a little money for the, family. It's wasn't big. Thank you.
And welcome to our existing members. So, next thing on the agenda, fire. Instead of fire. We're going to discuss the fall elections and open board positions.
Yes. No, everything's open except for, I think, program director, vice president, who else will stay?
So we'll be the president and treasurer.
No,
Treasurer stand.
Rick sitting stay. We'll need a secretary,
Secretary.
and, I'm not sure about acre managers who stay and who's going. But, Hannah, you staying next year for acre manager? Okay, so we got an opening in acre for one person. And that's an appointed position, not elected. And then, Adam stayed, our webmaster. So we've got an open director's position. And what else have I missed?
Yeah, that's good. So we need a president, a secretary, director,
Or interrupt, watch who goes to queen. Get out of there. There's Win.
If you open the other end and blow,
Yeah.
You get your mouth right down by the piece.
you got it.
And she could stay multiple times too.
Okay. So, John and I, and everyone on the board cares about this club, and we just don't want to see it just fall, basically dissolve away. We don't have any leaders. It's not that difficult being president, secretary, director. If you're worker, it gets hot out there. So, but it's a chance to work in the apiary with other people from our club. So, I guess what I'm saying is, we care about being president, but we've been president, I guess this makes about 6 years for me, I'm co-president with you.
This is my third year.
And that's since 2008 for me. And I've been on the board all but 2 of the years. And it's kind of time for me to come off. I'd like to have other, y'all are smart. Y'all can have, let's say you want to take the club in a different direction, that's great. We like to take it possible and do better than see what we're doing now. So, if you can be thinking about it and.
Well, actually, Daniel, raise your hand. He's the committee chairman for
He's our vice president.
nomination committee. Daniel's the person to talk.
Yes. So, we just want to throw it out there, get people thinking, we don't want to wait till the last minute and not have people to fill the positions. Because we still want to come to the club, but it's time for us to kind of hand torches over. That makes sense. So.
I've been since left on Beekeeper this year because I had too much to do.
But you have a lot of house.
I got.
So people can still be president, and if you've got 2, maybe 10 times, you'll still have time. Well, also, John does more than the president that's required for the president. You don't have to go to every event. John does it, and he wants to make sure things run good and meet people and invite them here. at events. Yes,
How long are the terms and what is the time commitment involved?
It depends on which job you're after, it's a 1-year term.
When did that start?
well, director is 3.
That's right.
The reason we do that is every year, one person comes off, so there's always a director every year. Now, the others are 1 year, but, like, probably the president, typically, we have a board meeting the week before this, so that would be maybe 2 hours, maybe spend 30 minutes beforehand, because you'll have kind of an agenda from the last month before to go with. And any new business will go to it for that meeting. And then the important stuff from that meeting, you bring to this meeting, so that's another 30 minutes to get ready for this one. And then the 2-hour commitment, you're here. If you're already a member coming, then you're spending two hours anyway.
2 extra hours a month, 3 extra hours a month.
Maybe 3, you know. And let's say the tables need set up, but you can't be here to do that. Usually you could call set.
Yeah.
And find out if they have somebody that can set it up. If they can't,
Then someone else in the club will announce.
yeah, call people in the club. Call out, maybe I can be here 30 minutes extra. Come set the tables up. And we've never had one for president. We'd like
I'm
one.
just asking questions, I'm not commenting.
Okay,
Don't oversell.
we'd like one. Speaking of women, I have an interesting tidbit I learned today about women, and it's not really politically correct anymore, but from 1957, you know, it's hurricane season now. They only named it after women from 1957 to 78, because, and this is National Weather Service actually said this, because the hurricanes are unpredictable. So I guess in 79, they realized, oh, men are unpredictable too. So that was an interesting tidbit. I didn't expect to come from an agency of the government. But watch out for hurricanes this season. Make sure your ties are ready to be tied down if it's coming. If you don't already tie them down every time.
Yeah, it's hurricane season now.
So, okay.
Who usually does that? Stuff like the
Yeah. The meeting program, one of our members, Jason Bird, he's kind of like our drone expert. So he's going to give that presentation. And once it's over, we're going to do question and answers for new beekeepers. Because we want to be able to, we don't want you to think, oh, I have these questions, who should I ask? So I'll let Jason take it over.
So maybe I should go fast, is that what you're saying? One more question, one time for one question?
No, just do a good job.
Hi, everybody. My name is Jason Burke. I'd like to thank Jim for knowing what I'm going to talk about and coming anyway. I think you saw it last time, right?
Yes, it is.
It didn't change much. They're still drones.
Great presentation.
What's that?
Good presentation.
Well, thank you, Jim. Thank you. I'll see a lot of new faces today, so you guys, if you have any questions for me about drones specifically, we can ask them at the end, or we can do them in a larger group. That's not a problem at all. And like they said about meeting new people involved in the board, we're definitely looking for more help on that. So that would be great. So everybody knows about Queens. Everybody talks about Queens. Everybody's ready for Queens, but we don't talk about drones. So I wanted to look a little bit deeper into drones a few years ago, what they are, what they do, why we have them. So that's a drone. Does everybody not know that that's a drone? They know the difference of a drone, what they are? You've seen one before? Yeah, okay. You know what they're good for? You know what they do? Okay. That makes sense. So drones don't collect pollen, they don't tend to brood, they don't do anything, they don't even clean out their own cell whenever they hatch out. They just make the queen. That's their only job. That's all they do, period. That's what they're there for. Here's some, so this is drone brood over here, and this is the worker brood over here. I thought this was a pretty cool shot to get them both on the same frame. I don't usually see that a lot. Chris, do you see that very much? When they're almost, they're up and down like that?
House foundations for a lifetime, so almost every frame's mixed.
Well,
Foundation.
okay, that's cool. So. Okay, I can hear it. So everybody knows the queen life cycle, right? Everybody knows when the queen comes out, 16 days, everybody talks about that. It's always in the books, it's everywhere, it's something everybody talks about. But nobody talks about that it takes 24 days for a drone to emerge. So what ends up happening is it takes 37 days for the drone to be ready to mate from the time that the egg is laid. And the queen is ready to mate in 20 days. So you end up with a 17-day gap where you need the drones to be out, available, and basically almost hatched out before you even start with a new queen. So, and I can give you this slide if anyone wants a copy of this later on. This is out on the internet, it's public knowledge, I stole it from somewhere. I didn't make this myself. I put this together with Ron a couple of years ago. So what ends up happening in spring, and I like to do this presentation in spring because everybody always asks, what do you do in February, March, people start saying, hey, now is the time to split. When can I split? When can I do this? Well, everybody's ready to do queens, but if you don't have the drones that you need coming out before you make that split, doesn't matter how great the queen is, there's not going to be drones to mate with her. So that's why we did the eye color chart here. So the drones need this 7-day head start basically. So I'm looking for dark purple eyes. See how you can see this eye is real dark here? So that tells me if I'm pulling drone group apart. Chris, you do this too, or you never done this before?
I just wait until there's a lot of drones flying out. I mean, I just give it a lot of insurance to make sure that.
I wanted to do it as fast as possible. I want to be ready. Maybe not, if this is your first year, if this is your second year, coming into the new spring, maybe you don't have to be as ready and jumpy as I am. You could be more like Chris and you can wait till you got good drone coverage. But I wanted to do it as soon as possible. So that's why I tried to figure out how I would know how old the drones were. And also, if you're getting into drone brood and you're breaking it open and you're looking at the larva, you can tell based on this chart how old those drone larvae are. And maybe, this is a little bit too advanced for some people, but it's interesting now, and maybe next year it'll make more sense to you. Something to look at. I understand. So here's some vocabulary words when dealing with drones. So the genotype, those are chemical components of our DNA. That is how we exist. These are the traits that can be passed on. But phenotype is observable characteristics of the bees. So like the color and their gentleness and all these other traits that you can observe. That's the phenotype. But it doesn't necessarily mean that that's expressed or that you can see, those genes could be there, they're just not expressed. Does that make sense? Does everybody see the difference in those two? Okay. I don't want to get too deep into genetics, but I do like genetics, so you can go deeper with somebody if you want to have that conversation. But so I know people, have you heard before about haploid cells and diploid cells? We're talking about making queens. everyone understand that the drone is just a single, it's half of what is necessary to produce the worker bee, so that's what ends up making it a drone, because it's an unfertilized egg, basically. Does that make sense, everybody? Too deep for some people already? Nod your head if I'm too deep already. I got a smile, I'll take the smile, it's too deep, okay. We'll come back to it, don't worry. So just remember that the genotype is unseen and the phenotype is what you see. So like, here's a picture, I think I've got a picture, I'll come back to it. But, so if you look at the queen here, there's two different possibilities. She can produce two different types of drones. So the queen has two sets of chromosomes that are 16 chromosomes each. So you can look, if you look at drone 1A, so drone A1 and drone A2, those are the two possible drones that she can produce, because she can lay two different unfertilized eggs, and one can be this one or one could be this one. So those are the only possible choices that she has when she lays an unfertilized egg. Now, when that queen mates, you can see if she mates with, in this example, we're just saying these 5 drones here. Some people say up to 20, I've heard even higher than that in some cases. But let's just say for the purposes of this conversation that she's only breeding with these 5 drones in these different color combinations. So that means that with those 5 drones plus her 2 different possibilities, then the queens that she can produce, the workers that she can produce would be in 10 possible outcomes. Does that make sense for everybody? So what ends up happening is if somebody picks out a colony and they say, you know, I want to breed this queen, I like the characteristics that I see from this queen, and I'm going to graft from that cell or from that queen, I'm going to split, you know, make a split, or however you're going to make your queens from that mother queen. It doesn't necessarily mean that all of her daughter queens are going to be great, because there's multiple possibilities for the outcome. So that's really your drone coverage and your drone population. That's your wild card when you're open mating. That's the problem. And everybody says, oh, well, you know, I've got a good queen, she's going to have great daughters. And that is not the case at all. That's something to think about. So that's why I want to do AI, but you know, obviously it's a little bit more expensive. It's not something I'm ready to do yet, but it is something that I think is coming further down the line. But at least, you know, at that point, you know which drones you're getting, because when your queen goes out to mate, she could be drones from anywhere in your local area that she's mating with. So that's the chances that you take with open mating. I thought this was a pretty cool picture. So they took a pheromone strip and they've got it out flying around, and these are the drones that are chasing it. They're trying to get to it. So I thought that was a really cool picture to be able to show the drones all trying to chase after that strip. So here's a good example of the phenotype that I talked about. So you can see these workers all came from the same queen, and a majority of them, you can see, let's see this, majority of them have darker bodies, but you can see the one in yellow here has a lighter abdomen. So her grandfather would have been, no, her father, because it would have been the drone. So the drone that was her father was different than the father of the other ones. So you see how you can have multiple groups in the same colony? Does that make sense? So that's another example of phenotype expression. So if you know, even with a darker queen. Yes, sir.
Are you saying that, I was of the opinion that I have a stinging group of bees. If I put a new queen in there, it's not that is
a brand new out of nowhere
from somewhere else.
From somewhere else.
That
Okay.
they say is a gentle.
Okay.
queen. It's not for certain that I'm going to get a non-stinging.
But you would assume that queen would be mated before you got it, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so in 6 to 8 weeks, all the old bees would be gone, and then all the new bees would be her daughters.
does that mean that I would not have stinging? A possibility that I would have?
There's a lot of genetic variability.
All of the DNA changed is what I was.
Yeah, all the DNA changed, but we're still talking about the DNA from your new queen. You know, how many, go ahead, yeah.
So over the last 100 years plus, everyone's been trying to breed gentle bees because they're easier to work with. So the good thing is that most of the area is flooded with bees that produce gentle bees. So right, when you have one that's not gentle, that's very different than what we have around here. So when you requeen it, I would say you have probably a greater than 90% chance that it's going to be much calmer.
Yeah.
In just 2 to 4 weeks, we can take the whole 6. I've seen it happen as fast as 2 because the queen, her pheromone soup is different. When she comes from a gentle line, she seems to be telling all the other bees that are already alive have that predisposition to be mean as hell. You don't have to be so damn mean.
I tried to kill off a bunch of them, I haven't seen me.
They're just gonna produce more, that's the problem, that's the problem. And then a lot of people, for some reason, they think, oh, if I just kill that queen and then let them make a new queen, then it'll be okay. Well, they're still the same DNA, exactly, that same DNA is there.
That's why I say from a different.
Exactly. You may get lucky if you kill that queen. You may get lucky that she's going to breed with new drones from the local area that are more gentle, and then some percentage of your new bees will be gentle, but I would not count on that at all.
So as he was saying, it's 90% chance.
Yeah, I mean, or better if it came from, from a totally outside source. Yeah. And I mean, I've dealt with aggressive Russian hives before where we took the queen out and then we even went back a week later and went frame by frame, line by line, triple checked and tore down every single cell to make sure that there was no chance whatsoever, so that we knew that it was our queen that was going back in and not some rogue, because we did not want any bad genetics in the mix. And if you've got the space and the time and the tenacity to do those kinds of things, then that's great, but that's not a conversation for first year beekeepers who don't like getting stung in the first place and then try and climb into a hive that's going to be pretty bad. But all my bees, I breed for calmness, like Chris said. And I mean, in the summer, it's hot here, so I have just my veil on and I t-shirt and shorts. John gives me a hard time because I have flip flops. So, but I got gentle bees. And if I run into one that's a problem, get rid of her. So.
Or suit up.
Yeah, I don't even want it to come to that. So get them out. So I took this picture. This is the same cells from 2 different angles. So anybody want to guess what you're looking at here beside Chris? A little bit bigger. Huh? Yeah, they're drones. They're drones and worker cells, and you can see how they're protruding out a little bit further. That's something to watch for. Not a horrible sign, just something that happens occasionally. So they pop out like that by themselves, but it does happen. That's fun and interesting. These are the two pages that I got my pictures from, so I thought I'd put that in there. Any specific questions about drones that we want to talk about before we go deeper with everything else? John, you want to pull up a chair now, or?
Do what?
I said, you want to pull up a chair? We'll go ahead and ask questions and stuff.
Oh, are you done?
Yeah. Anybody have drone specific questions before we go off into whatever John is doing? Yeah.
So the wax foundations that you buy from whomever, are those, is there not a difference between drone foundation and
they sell drone foundation? Yeah, they sell drone foundation, but it has been my experience that it's just not necessary to buy specific frames for that. if you want to make drones, you can, there's a couple different things you can do. You can take regular foundation, you can cut the bottom off and then let them pull on it. You can have probably like, I think Chris, you said like half sheets or something.
No.
Yep. Just let them draw.
So they're all the same size, or are they, some of them larger, for to create?
You can buy frames that are meant to raise up the drones, generally for light.
I'm not interested in that.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I take a deep frame, because I have all foundation, all worker foundation. I take a deep frame and I cut or either put a medium in a deep box and then they'll draw drone on the bottom of it. Or you can take like a foundation you can put on the table saw and cut the bottom half off or something, and then they'll draw on the bottom of that. That works good for making, if you want to make drone brood. My long-term point here is that you still need drone brood. Everybody talks about, oh, you can't have drones because of mites, but if you want to make queens, you got to have drones. Yes.
I have a question about the green frame.
Yeah. So the green frame for mite control purposes, it's a drone brood frame. So what ends up happening is they draw and they make whole big sheets of drone brood. And then the idea is to take it out before the mites can actually pop out, and before the drone brood hatches, and then you just freeze that whole thing beforehand. But it's it's a great tool for mite management, but it's a dangerous tool for mite management, because if you forget, you go on vacation, and then the very thing that you're trying to prevent, you've helped do.
This is the opportunity.
Yeah.
So do you think they're producing more drones, or is it gonna be the same?
So-
whether it's green frame or not?
Well, I think the appropriate amount of drones, based on my experience, is 10 to 15%. And so if you have a 10 frame deep box and you put one frame of drone in, that's still 10%. The difference is that where you put it in the hive is going to depend on if they're going to really draw it or not. I actually do basically 1/10 of my hives, of a 10 frame box. I've got a green frame in there, and then in the summer I move it to the middle, and they make, when I want them to make drones, I move it to the middle and they make drones. When I don't want them to make drones, I move it to the outside, and then they usually fill it full of honey. Because they put the honey where, they're going to always put the honey on the outside. So if you've got that drone frame in the middle, then you can speed up drone production. And that's how I do it. I'm not saying that works best for everybody else.
So what I'm asking though is that, do you feel that if you put the drone in there, and they release the drone in that frame, do you think she's overlaying the drone when you put that frame in, or is it gonna be the same amount of drone when you put that frame in?
I think that it's going to help regulate the number, but it really depends on the queen and the time of year. And she's still going to do what nature is telling her to do either way. So you may get some additional drone production, but like I said, it really depends on the queen itself. But I mean, me personally, I have drone framed it. So, if they want to do it, if they really want to do it, then they'll go to those outside frames and they'll do it. Yes,
And it
ma'am.
also depends on how healthy that hive is.
Absolutely. And that's another good point about drone production. Drones can be a double-edged sword, because a healthy colony is producing drones, but just because you see drones doesn't mean you have a healthy colony. Because if the queen is gone and they're only producing drones, that's not a good sign. So drone production and drone presence is important, but is your queen still laying and still doing her job? So ideally, you want to see in the middle of the colony, you want to see good, solid worker brood being produced, and then some drone production on the periphery of that. And again, in the 10 to 15% range, preferably, I think is a good healthy hive. If they're kicking out drones, you might have hives right now because of the heat that they don't have enough resources and they're kicking out drones. Well, that would tell me, hey, maybe I need to, maybe look at this hive again. Any questions about drones specifically before I defer to the wonderful panel?
Okay. suggestions are correct, Donna, the bylaws were handed out so that you all can see what the jobs entail. You read it on your, when you get time, but everybody, this one has a copy of the bylaws. What's going on.
Thank you, Jason. Thank you always. So right now, we want to keep our people educated who took our class, even new who have come in, never taken a class. So we've got a panel up here, and I'd like to see if Chris would like to join. Answer questions? No?
You've done this to me once.
Chris teaches at JCC.
What do you like, bro?
So, anyway,
I'll be happy to answer.
what we'll do is, we'll go table to table like we did before. We've got 6 tables, so we'll start over here on table number 1. Anybody got questions about these, about what's going on in them? Everybody at that table seems to be pretty experts too.
My bees just swarm, my wife just texts me a picture of this.
Cool, you got a new novel.
They go get them.
Okay. Okay, so we'll go to table number 2, which is back on term protection.
I'm just curious what people are experiencing this spring and summer with swarms. Seeing them?
I had 6 over the last 2 weeks. But those were the ones that were splits about a month ago because I had to come in and add a second layer in. Normally I do 2 brood chambers and avoids it. I haven't had time to do that. So I ended up now, instead of having the number I have plus 6. So now one of those has already pulled all the wax in a single, so tomorrow I'm going to put a second brood chamber on.
I think we saw more swarms this year based on the text messages going out. And, it was warm early, so I think that's what's driven a lot of this. With that and $1.50, you cut the off in the dollar, so.
Okay.
I experienced the same thing.
And we'll- Sometimes I wonder, if we didn't have trouble with raw and honeybees, have we ever not populated with honeybees? They can reproduce pretty good.
I'm gonna have to say, I had ground swarm. Right there on the ground.
You had one of those before.
I've never had one before. I mean, you're setting the box and post, they won't get it.
Queen stayed under the rock at ours.
Okay, so table number 2 back here.
I have a question.
You're gonna ask me about green frames, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm already
Thank
answering.
you.
Okay, so I have a question about honey. It seems that a lot of people are talking this year and honey, like this year than last year. So what's the theory on why the honey decided to taste the same? So it's called honey or color? Color.
Well, did they say come comes from the bottom?
I know that's the
Mine
vine.
is lighter than it was last year. Mine's still dark.
Not the same as last year.
Mine's lighter, and also I got some honey I don't like the taste of. So I was wondering if they got some with it.
That was what I heard, Gary, was that the fruit that I just shared in the box, I guess.
We had a lot of rain while I was talking
Yeah,
for
it's
us,
all
about two o'clock. Closing, the beach is still working. Now I will.
The fruit honey is not very tasty, right? I not sure that it's, looks like it's, but it makes sense.
Hammond extracted some honey at my place, different, from different places, and they all tasted different. I was surprised.
I came back,
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I came back from North Wilkesboro today, and summer was blowing up there like crazy, so you'll start seeing people post on the internet with that.
Last year, you had some very light honey that you called 4-H honey, because 4-Hers had extracted it.
Yeah, but I think that was from the year before, it's been in the freezer.
They tricked her.
That was when I learned that, plastic foundation will bend if it's spun fast enough in a tangential. Plastic extractor, that one in particular, because I have some shallow foundation that's now permanently bent like that, because they extracted it so fast. But they had fun, and I just sat there and watched them, so.
Any other questions at that table?
Now, with this hot weather that's coming up, is anyone doing anything to help shade your bees that are maybe in full sun or doing anything like that?
I love full sun for mine. Less mice, less bees. I do know a guy in Venice who is actually putting tarps on it. I can tell. Are you doing anything special for you?
I'm sorry.
Are you doing anything special?
Mine are not in full sun.
Okay.
Mine gets dappled shade.
But you definitely want to shade over.
There's a guy in Venice that's
When
growing.
it's really hot, all the bees will go outside, because the mother says, hey, you kids get outside, it's too hot here. So they'll go outside. So in some ways, that's a stress, because they're not inside working, and it's really hot inside, we're trying to keep it cool. So I was just wondering, because we're gonna have some, 95 and 98 degree weather coming up. What would be your initial advice? What are you talking about? Bottom board? Do you have a full bottom board? Yes. I have a full bottom board. Why are you worried about the heat? I'm not, I said the dappled shade. I just wondered if anybody else was concerned with that.
If you're really concerned about the amount of heat, then put a couple popsicle sticks under your top to allow it to vent better. Just be careful if you have ants, because they'll attack if they can.
I'm a weirdo about my bottom boards. I have screen and bottoms. I use solid bottoms in winter and screen in summer. It's a little expensive, but I need solid bottom board. My simple solid bottom.
Let's go to the next thing. Let's move back.
I got tons of questions, but no.
Let's do one and we can answer them.
No, I'm good. I got it.
Well, yeah, but see, if you've got a question, I bet you 3 or 4 other people have the same question. And we're
Exactly.
scared to ask. So ask.
I'm just too new at this, so.
No.
I got all my questions.
I learned things from new people.
Right, well, I'm just too new into it right now to even begin. I could rant. I'm good. I have a source that I can go to.
Okay, well, you can come up to us afterwards. Okay?
I've already asked a few people whether one this particular for other people's benefit as well. You might as well ask that. I've got 3 hives, one of the ones up here, about 2 months, and it looks like one of those forms. I can't find the queen or evidence. I figured I'd try taking, it wasn't a queen cell, it was not a spore cell, it was on the bottom, it was in the center, one of the frames. It was capped a little over a week ago. Went in there again Saturday, and I didn't see the cell anymore, but I also still don't see evidence of the queen. She might not have made it yet, but I'm just wondering, it's like, I'm getting a little nervous because I'm looking at it, saying this is high, I'm not going to make it, or What I tried is I actually moved a resource frame for one of the other hives and a fruit frame for one of the hives to build it up a little bit. But I don't want to go in there too often. I'm just gonna, I'm running, I should check on it every 3 days or leave it alone for a week.
Do you think you can spot a virgin queen in there?
Not very good at it yet. I was looking, but I didn't see any evidence either, you know.
So how many days since she would have emerged has it been?
Let's see, so we're talking about 10 days ago is when I saw the cat, cat cell.
Okay.
I didn't see it 3 days ago, or 3 days ago.
So within the past 7 days, either she's emerged or they tore it down for some reason.
Right.
So I don't think it's been long enough for her to be mated yet.
That's what I figured. I figured maybe wait another week, check it out.
And then if you don't have a queen, at the end of that time, get Chris's number. You got queens, right? Get Chris's number if he can get you a queen.
I have a question about your, you said you moved it, brood frame?
Yeah.
Did it for eggs in it?
I still can't see eggs.
Okay.
Folks who can't see eggs,
Okay.
this can see eggs for you. Take a picture and blow it up.
That's good.
Let's go to the state.
I've heard rumors that the flow is stopped, okay, and so I was wondering, when do we start feeding these again? Do we feed them again? I see them bringing in pollen, quite a bit, but.
Is the hive pretty strong?
Oh, the hives are.
Personally, I don't feed if they're strong hives. They should be able to survive. And as far as dearths go, it's reasonable. In 4 hours, I can drop, my bees are still gaining weight. So they're collecting nectar. I could probably go a mile down the road to some hives and they're not. So you've got to watch. Dearths are dependent on, are the bees smart enough to go this way instead of the way they've been going the last 3 months? So it depends.
I think one thing that's going to really affect it in the next couple of weeks is the fact whether we get rain or not. Because if we don't get some rain soon, this nectar flow is going to stop until we get it. And, my buckwheat's just, and there's a chance for rain Friday. I'm hoping we get some. But my bees are working flowers that here at Wildflower Farms got planted, and they're going like crazy. And over at 701, they seem to be quite busy over there too. So if they're just hanging out on the front of the hive and not doing anything, they're not doing a lot of flying, that means there's nothing for them to forage.
Well, it seems a lot of fun. Especially when I go out there early on, it's got the sunlight.
Lift the back of the hive, and you'll sort of know if it's getting heavier, or just go in and right now, any frames you see the nectar, and this, if it's half full, the 7th one. Next time, if the 7th one's 3/4 full, you know they got more.
What's the front of your hives though?
Well, it was getting full, and I had like 8 or 9 seeds. So I went ahead and put a second deep, and I was advised to put a frame of, already drawn comb up into it, and it worked. They all went up inside the other one. I mean, they're just, it's like growing weeds. Yeah. They're just really, and so I was just wondering about, nectar's gonna stop. Well, first I had one frame, just the outside.
Let's go to this guy.
So I've got a couple of questions. So I'm very new. I didn't do any homework whatsoever. So are the worker bees, are they male or female?
Let's drink that too.
Worker bee females. The only male bees in the hive are the drones. And they don't work.
That's not here.
That's the kind of question I like. So there's an answer to that.
Yeah.
A lot of these other questions, it's a lot of things that depend on it.
And usually you'll find them on the, resources spring for their food.
Good question.
What about, is it possible to have too many beekeepers in an area? In other words, are there enough flowers, or is there enough pollens, or is it possible that this becomes too popular and there's too much competition for food in there?
I think, I'll let John answer that.
Yeah, I think that's possible. I mean, you know, especially with lower nectar flows, then, you know, you're gonna have to feed. Do you have a lot of beekeepers in your area?
Not no more, I'm just branding.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Porter Farms has like boxes out near their strawberry fields, but I don't know of any other.
You said 40, 42.
Yeah, 40, 42.
There's several beekeepers in the club. Okay. But
Which
they do fly 5 miles. 5 miles.
What you need, well, I was gonna say is you need to drive around and see what resources the bees have around you. The other thing you can do is sign up for Drift Watch, then you can go look and see who else is registered in your area and see where those hives are.
Just
But
be aware that not everybody registers.
that's right, but
Because they don't want people to know who the hives are.
it gives you an idea of what's going on, but drive around and look. I mean, you get a lot of stuff at the edges of fields, like, in wintertime henbit, and then this time of year, there'll be some mustard out there, clover, and dot, which looks like dandelion. And then crops out there, you know, soybean helps in August. You know, cotton in August. You just gotta look at what crops are being grown around you. Yeah.
Got watermelon too.
Yeah.
Around Clayton, there's not a whole lot, there are houses that are growing, not a whole lot of plants, flowers.
What's the deal with these, I see on the internet, you see rows and rows and rows of beehives. Are they real close to a source? Is that what?
It's probably a picture of pollinators.
Yeah. Probably pollinators.
Oh, they're
like,
taking them around out to other places?
No, they're just set up in, you know, like almond groves, I put them out there, or watermelon, you know, I used to go out and pollinate watermelons. You know, they have so many hives spread around. If there's rows and rows and rows, so it looks like they're probably not doing any pollination there, they're just trying to keep them there temporarily until they move them somewhere.
A lot of beekeepers will bring to North Carolina, South Carolina through the winter before they hit almonds, and they'll usually leave toward the end of January. Almonds will be blowing in February. But I'll speak to the watermelon thing. Watermelons, cucumbers, cantaloupes, things like that. They get tons of pollen from them, but very little nectar. So they can starve because the adults do need nectar. But the pollen, I've had a few of my hives get overloaded. The whole bug, I do 2 brood chambers. I've ended up in November with entire 10 frames full of peanut pollen. Now, what I did in the spring is I took one of each and stuck in all my hives, and they kicked them off pretty fast. But you gotta be aware what you're putting if you put them near something that has a lot of pollen, it can be bad, it can be good. So.
And my last question was gonna be like, are these bees kind of like similar to like cattle, where if they didn't have a farmer, they would have survived?
Oh, wow, that's survive.
They survived.
If we were all dead, that's
No, I'm just curious.
Yeah.
If they've been domesticated to one word.
Oh, no.
They're wild.
These are the.
They're wild. They're all wild. Their genetics might change, they might have more drones, less drones.
Thanks.
It's a good question, though. Okay, good this thing.
I run a different type of hive, and my bottom, what would be my bottom board is string, and it's permanent. Why do you change? Why do you, what?
I don't know. I'll be screen on the board year round. I do not construct the appeal board unless I'm doing the chat. And I do not.
Okay, part of the reason is that we came down from New York, and when you were in New York, you wanted a solid bottom board, because it would help keep the hive warm in the winter. So what we did is we had two bottom boards. We have a solid space, screen, space, and that way we're doing fine.
That's exactly what I have. I have a 2x2, and then my screen, and then the space between, well, in the winter time, I put burlap in them.
We would use foam cord on the back, because push pins foam cord was all you needed to stop that wind going through.
See, this answer, it like kind of feeds back to his question, his last question. Would we survive without us? Yes, they would.
Oh, maybe.
All hives that we have is our preference. I do mine, you do yours. The bees are gonna survive. You didn't have to watch mites because they're not, mites were not from the Middle East, which is where our honeybees evolved. So that's why we have trouble with them.
No questions.
No questions.
There was another question back there, wasn't there?
Well, I just wanted to ask to the point of food, would it make sense to prepare your yard in advance of getting the bees? Because I don't have any bees yet, but I was thinking that, if I start planting things that they would eat to get them started before I go out and just, start.
John does buckwheat. Nathan does buckwheat, mustard.
I would say mustard is one thing that you scatter around, and it'll produce flowers pretty much year round.
It takes a lot of area to provide for a beehive.
Right, a third of an acre, like. in the
Well, I just had
southern-
over an acre, but I'm surrounded by fields, so, there's, of course, the crops alternate every year.
See, forests are probably the best source around here, other than John's got a flower grower that's growing flowers. If that guy wasn't there, the forest would be the best, because they probably have tobacco.
I live down a dirt road in the middle of nowhere. I have coyotes and trees and things, so.
I really like that.
But yeah, my yard was full. I didn't mow because I didn't want the bees in there.
Okay, so we've got a clock. Seth is here, he's our agricultural extension agent, expert in several items, agricultural products. He's gonna tell us how great the strawberry season was, and the blueberry season's good, blackberry season's good, right?
Yep, strawberry season could have been better. We had a bit of a drop compared to last year, but when you compare strawberry season to last year's strawberry season, which was anywhere from 16 to 20 weeks, which is 4 to 8 weeks longer than normal, to this year's where we kind of skipped spring and it just got really hot, and that's not great for berries. But blueberries are starting to come off depending on what you've got. You should have blueberries coming off by a handful over the next 2 weeks, whether you've got high bush or rabbit eye. Blackberries are doing really well right now, and they're still flowering out, producing more, but they're going to be slowing down before the blueberries start to. And in other news, pretty much all of the other vegetable crops, all the cucurbits, peppers, tomatoes, everything is in just about full swing, especially once we get some of these done in 3 days and everyone starts seeing some blossom in right. So that's really all there is right now. Peaches are starting to ripen. I know people will take back to Chick-fil-A, so that's always a happy day. But that's kind of all I really got to report.
How about the back? What's the back?
Struggling. Struggling. It's really, really dry. And we're not. We what? Yeah, we're not predicted to get rain, enough rain to matter for potentially at least the next 10 days. And that could break some corn crops and tobacco crops won't get any more. And especially for all those sweet pests that just got put in the ground. And those are really struggling on that dry season.
I know it's still watering corn, and I don't know how long you can do that.
Not very economical. It takes a lot of water to still make a decent crop. We don't have any other questions?
Mine's more of a comment. I don't know about anybody else or blueberries that go on the council. Or every other day.
I've been told it's shaping up to be a pretty good blueberry season.
They're not gonna buy any more this year.
Blueberries struggled last year. Now strawberries struggled this year.
We
Compared
didn't
to
buy
averages.
blueberries last year.
We had two, blueberries, and, but
Well, I'm still using 2022 berries. So.
black raspberries.
Thank you, sir. That's always a good information.
What's next on the list?
Next on the list is a treasury report. You like to get the treasury report? You need to. Yes, you Yeah, $11,925 right now. Thank you, Rick, for keeping all that straight. Money's keeping straight, is good. Okay, next item is the July meeting. There is none. But we normally have a field trip. And sometimes instead of a field trip, we do a cookout, which is what we did last year. It was really hot, but it was really fun. So our board has decided that we're gonna try to do an October cookout. So how does that sound to everybody? The temperatures will be down, and we've asked Donna to check the calendar. Same place, it's an excellent place out there. Okay.
First week in October?
October 5th.
So the June trip or July trip?
Okay, we're gonna do, once we get it straight. So the picnic's at the water.
Yeah.
So she's gonna check, make sure the 5th is on. So back to the July trip, field trip. What we were thinking, and we know that Starlight probably has some sodas, but for the most part, it's a meadery in Pittsburgh. And it's alcoholic, of course. It gives you a chance to go, they can show us how they make their mead, how you can come home and make your own mead. You can pay for a tasting if you'd like, if you drink. If you want to bring some back, you can bring it back, things like that. So we're trying to gauge interest. And being that we're only a month from in, we decided one unit, for July. And they've got it open on that Saturday. We were thinking they were 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Because if they do tours at 4, so we would probably try to arrive there by 3 or so, because their meadery is in what's called their beverage district in Pittsburgh. And they were one of the first ones there. There's also a distillery there. I believe there's a brewery. And then there's 2 or 3 eating places in that area of that park. So, I mean, you could go as early as lunchtime if you wanted to eat there. But we were thinking, go to the meadery, do the tour at 4, maybe leave there by 5, and stop somewhere on the way back as a group. Pay for your own meals, but maybe reserve an area at one of the restaurants, which we haven't decided exactly where. Depending on how many people will go, we would call call them ahead of time and say, we want area for this many people. Is that something you're gonna be interested in, not interested in?
Oh, okay.
So what we're thinking is send invite, what is it called?
Sign up Genius.
Sign up Genius out. You say how many people will be going with your group. And we're thinking we might get 10 or 15 people together. And then we will pick a place to stop coming back. It's not outrageously expensive, even though you go anywhere these days.
Take people outside the club.
And children. Families.
I'm assuming children can go, you just have to be aware. I'll ask her if she has sodas or anything for the kids to drink, because we can't drink these.
They just gotta be the designated driver.
Oh, yes.
Well, we probably can get the Ag Center to drive.
And they have access to 15 passenger vans. So we would meet here before that, and then they would drive us there. That way you don't have to worry. We plan on eating anyway after the alcohol, so, but anyway. We'll send a sign up Genius to your emails. Everybody is receiving the newsletter, right?
Anybody not receiving the newsletter, and hold up your hand, please.
Okay, we got everybody's email address correct, so you should get the sign up Genius. Okay. With, the board can discuss that. So, on first sign up Genius. Okay. Also, last month we talked about, we've got too many things causing volunteers to be run out. It's the same, like 10, 15 volunteers doing the list of events. So we've listed the ones of importance. Now, next year's board may decide we don't want to do that anymore. We did do that again for about 3 or 4 years. So next year's board can change this, whatever. But we put the important stuff up at the top, falling down to less important each time.
Now, what is the FFA?
Farm Future Farmer View America.
That's a Cleveland effect.
It's actually not called future farmers anymore, they officially changed it. That's the official name of it now. My son serves on the board of the FFA, so that's fine.
They're changing it for what?
It's just now FFA, because they thought with the word future farmers, it was eliminating too many kids that were interested in agriculture, but not necessarily farming. So it's FFA. It's just now called an actual FFA.
Okay. So we'll be scheduling these as they come up. This is more for your information.
Do y'all have any comments on this proposed priority list?
And the problem is, most of the events occur the first 5 months of the year.
Yeah.
Is this something that people call you and say, hey, we want y'all to come to our event and set up?
Some of
Or is
them.
it something that you kind of look for and try to, because that's, to my thought is, we're trying to entice people to keep bees, right? We're trying to build the beekeeping community, right? So we need to get children involved, we need to get the youth involved, not necessarily children. So the 4-H is a really good avenue for that. So anything driven around the 4-H for me, I'm like, all in for that, because we're building youth up, right? Bring youth into keeping bees. But the others, like you said something about the ham and yam, that was a really good event because we saw honey, or
Because we did a lot of outreach, we talked to people about bees. we get to see a lot of people in a very short time. And we had the observation hive there, and they,
The foot traffic is high.
Right. I mean, we've had, what, two, I think, show up in every open house come from the handicap. So it's
So
working.
that's how the board decides. It's more for y'all's information. If you disagree with something, you want something maybe made higher on the priority, let one of the board members know. Okay? So we'll go to the next item. So after we had that big list last month, the reason we had our big list wasn't to confuse everybody, but if we came to y'all with 3 items, we'll say, where's this, and what's that, everything else. So we would have ended up spending an hour discussing that. Anyway, our board, based on the interest, narrowed things down. John has donated a plastic extractor
which is right back there.
right there. We are still on the hunt for a motorized two-frame extractor, something that's light enough that somebody can easily move without bending it, because it's probably going to be made out of stainless steel, things like that. The plastic is good, but if you drop it, it's probably not going to break. You drop it hard enough, it will break. It can crack, but it's pretty versatile. And then the OA vaporizer said that was one of the highest checked out things. So we need to.
We're gonna have to buy a new one, because tonight, the vaporizer did not work properly.
Okay.
So we're gonna have to buy a new one.
So we're going to try and have 3, right?
Well,
That's one in the bed.
Yeah. I don't know how many we need. Just everybody talk to me about, or talk to us about what you all feel like, because, you know, November, December, and January is when you're gonna use the vaporizer. And, you know.
Isn't that something they use summertime that was for occasions?
I use it year round, but nobody else agrees with me on that necessarily, so.
I mean, you know.
If you've called here and to see if it's available, and you've got told, well, it's not right now, but if you come back in 2 days, then that tells us there's a need for it. So we want to make sure we've got the equipment y'all want.
Everybody saw the difference between the wand type and the instant vape. The instant vape's very expensive, and it also can be very dangerous if you're not careful, because it puts out the oxalic acid so fast. What's y'all's opinion? What's your preference?
Individual, I would go with the. Stay away from
We just don't want anybody hurt. Is what it comes to. Even if you went and bought one yourself, we don't want you to get hurt.
So,
How many people use
I hate asking you, probably don't know the count of how many times it gets checked out. Oh,
I use oxalic acid.
who uses like that? Nathan, do you?
We've never used it 2 years, we've never used it past 14 times. We do group rates and we do use the.
So maybe just.
I'm not opposed to not using it, I just don't have an avenue to.
So maybe we'll just stick with 2 vaporizers.
Okay, so right now we have 0 based on what happened this evening.
On either one of them.
Yes.
You think
So we will get 2 orders,
okay.
unless somebody doesn't want it.
Well, what I was wanting to do, well, I'll go over the apiary items that our board has decided is we're gonna get all suits and gloves for beekeepers to be, so that if you don't have bees yet, you're not having to go to the bee, buy suits or a jacket and gloves. You come out here after weighing the bees once or twice, you decide you want to keep bees, and they got a coat and jacket or coat and gloves you don't use. So we're gonna get that first aid kit, and we want to give donations to 4-H so that they can get some more suits to fit the various kid sizes, including, we're gonna urge them to get a grant from the state.
And where we're at on that is right now, 4-H, at least last week, was overwhelmed. There wasn't even time to talk about it. I mean, they've been doing their summer fun program, they had something this weekend. I mean, I think they've been working 7 days a week, so, as soon as they have a break and I have a break, we'll get together and get, the grant process and send in to the state, and then we've already approved $1,500 for suits from the club, so.
That was for the kids.
Yeah, and the hardest part about this is sizing the suits for the kids, period. We're probably gonna have to borrow some kids to size things.
So, our board can't approve over $400 without your vote. So what we want to do is.
We've already approved the suits, though, last time.
The 1,500.
The 15.
We want to approve maybe up to $4,000 to buy these items, only these items. If it comes in at $2,000, then great, we get to spend another $2,000. But we've got to price a lot of things. We don't know what they cost.
Alan, does that include another battery for the second battery?
The thing, yeah, Rick has some items that he's wanting to get. And these are, even though he may use them in the apiary, they're available for checkout. So to me, that's an apiary, that's an item for our club members. So yes, it includes that stuff. So I was saying, I'd like to get a vote for up to us, the board, to responsibly spend $4,000 to include the 1,500 that we already approved, so that's another 25. So
Are you asking for a motion?
I would like to ask for a motion, yes.
I will make a motion that, you can spend up to 4,000, is that what you said? To
Including,
provide the necessary items that you were talking about.
second, and all in favor? Opposed? Great, thank you. Anything dealing with money is always part of the club. And we will come back. It may take us about 2 months to make sure we get the right suit sizes and all that. So, we don't have a meeting to us in August. We'll give you a report back of what we spent, what we bought with that money. That way there's transparency. Right there. I'm ready for this, so I've got some notes. Okay, next thing, I don't know if any of you have never met Terry Wilson, but she's our regional director.
I wanted the coastal regional director.
Coastal Regional Director. Would you like to come up here and talk about the B-Bowl?
Come up here, wake everybody up with my loud voice.
You can do that,
Sing,
Terry.
sing, and dance. Woo, everybody wake up now, okay? All right, I'm gonna talk about the summer meeting, and you're looking at me and saying, oh, that, yes. Do you wanna go to the education? Do you wanna go and meet beekeepers from everywhere around the state? And there's some that live outside the state. We have some that come from South Carolina, some that come from Tennessee, some that come from Virginia, because we have one of the better conferences usually for a state conference. The conference this year is July 11th, 12th, and 13th. It's at the Sand Hills Community College, which is in Pinehurst. Mike Berry, who's a TV, YouTube and blogger and all that, he's very interesting. He's lots of fun. He's good to listen to. He's going to be there. Brandon Shannon, a PhD, just recently got his PhD. And he had been at the Ohio State. He was trying to work on Varroa control. Guess what? He will talk about. Yep. And then there's Phoebe Snyder. She worked at the Bee Research Lab in Beltsville, and she has gone on to get her PhD, and she has founded UBO. And you're looking at me and say, another crazy name. Yes, it is another crazy name, but it has to do with managing your hives. Better ways to manage your hives, easier ways to manage your hives, and monitoring your hives, okay? Those are some of the main speakers. There's going to be a few more that we'll pick up, okay? And the Master Beekeeping Program testing for all levels. Certified Journeyman Master will be Saturday, okay? Please register for that. Because last year there were lines and you went, did you go? Oh, there were lines and lines and lines and lines because they didn't realize how many people wanted to move up, and you should move up. I'm guessing almost everybody here is a certified, yes? Okay, but you need to move up to journeyman. You will learn so much in the process. Okay, you will learn about everything, okay? There will be off-site tours of Midnight Bee Supply. You'll get to see their woodenware production shop, some of their apiaries and things like that. And there's going to be a bee bowl. You know, like the college bee bowl, clubs are putting, and members out of clubs are testing their knowledge against others. It's going to be fun, okay? You won't believe some of the answers that come out of their mouths. Woo! Because we haven't had one of those since 2018. There also will be a honey show, okay? And there's going to be an awards banquet, okay? We are going to honor some very long-standing people in the community. But the biggest reason that I want you to go, I want you to go vote for the slate of officers, because this is your only chance to vote on the state officers. And you need to be there Saturday afternoon to vote, to have your voice heard. Okay, I don't know if anybody heard about what happened last year. I will talk about that on the side if somebody wants to talk about that, but that was another faux pas. Should I say faux pas? I don't know. But anyway, so, and if anybody is going to go and they want to split the cost of a B&B or an airbed, whatever it is, which is a lot of fun getting on, because everybody goes and has dinner and lunch together. I mean, like there'll be 6, 7, 8, 10 of us, and we'll just hit a restaurant and, you know, all we do is talk about bees. So if you would like to, if you're going and you would like to share accommodations, talk to me, okay? But go, it really is fun, okay? Yes, ma'am.
Is there a limit on the group size for people from each?
All of that is on the state website. I think there is, but I don't know if they've gotten to that limit or not, how many clubs can do it.
No, I mean, like, so let's say our club is going to serve on how many people we can have in our group.
I want to think there's 4 or 5 people on the team.
Okay.
You know, it's like, who's interested in the club? Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's good. They're, you know, they're good beekeepers. You know, they're going to represent the club. Yeah, it's not fun.
I did see something about the number of clubs. or
Yes,
teams
yes,
that
yes.
meet. I think it's like 8 or 10 teams.
I believe so. I don't know exactly. I have been guilty. I've not checked the website lately. I have not seen the ballot for officers yet. I've asked for it. It has not come down to me. Most things that I get, I pass along to John. And so if you hear things out of John about the state or something, it's because I've passed it on. So, any other questions? Yes, sir.
Are there gonna be vendors there?
I'm sorry?
Vendors? selling
Yes.
stuff?
Oh, yes.
You can buy just about anything you want, okay? From t-shirts and purses to woodenware to chemicals to you name it, it'll be there. Because all the big vendors will be there. And a lot of little ones too. Mhm. And you, most of the time you can pre-order and pick it up there and bring it home, saves you shipping.
Yeah, and a lot of times you can be under their shipping limit and they'll still bring it to you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. They kind of bend over. Most of them will bend over. If you want something from them and you'll go to the conference, yeah, they'll get you what you want. And even if you're there and you walk up to a vendor and you say, you know, I'd really like to have this type of screen that you don't have. Okay, you want to pay for it now? We'll ship it free. You know, they'll do things that normally they won't do. Okay?
Also, there's a tour of Midnight Bee Supply in Mass.
Yes.
Okay, on the numbers,
Uh-huh.
there'll be 8 teams based on a first come, first served basis.
Yep.
A team will consist of 3 up-to-date members.
Okay. There it is. So pick your smartest 3.
And the advanced registration ends the 28th.
Thank you very much. You are correct. So go out on the state website every so often and just look at stuff. Okay? I get all the stupid stuff like, you know, budgets and things like that. But there's a lot that happens. Okay?
Terry,
Get
we
involved.
Huh? We need to cut you off.
Okay, oh, you can cut me off right now.
Thank you, Terry.
Thank you.
So if you are a member of the state, you probably got an email asking you to vote for what their quorum is. They're looking at making it 50 as a quorum. And the reason is, they said normally when voting's going on, most of the people are out in the vendors shopping during the vote. So if you're going, make sure not to be at the vendors during that time period. Go in there and make the vote count. Okay, next item is the future programs.
Terry's not here tonight. Let's skip that.
Okay. So Paul Hart, well, she was going to do Paul Hart's for all this. And maybe your report from Hannah, Kent, and Rick.
So the April report, we've had some good progress, folks showing up for April inspections, open hives. We have one coming up the 20th, which is Thursday, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Start early. Hannah will be your lead. Then we'll do one on the 29th, Saturday the 29th, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. If you don't have your sign up genius emails, whatever, you heard it here, you don't have to sign up. We'd rather you sign up so we know you're coming. But if you're not getting the sign up genius, just show up. Okay? So we'll be here Thursday, the 20th, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. and the 29th, which is a Saturday, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. So everybody's welcome. Please come out. We've been having some real good groups coming, and the more the merrier. We want to have y'all come out and go through the house.
Thank you, Kent. And Kent recently passed the certification exam, so he just has one more piece to fetch. And
It's on the table.
okay. Since Chris is here, what is the next B class you're going to do? Because I like to push people to go.
So JCC puts on a class 3 times a year. The next one, if I'm not mistaken, is September 11th. And so it's 10 classes in the fall because the dark, it gets dark earlier. They're up to September 17th. 17th is when it starts. Okay, good deal. So it starts September 17th. So it'll be 8 classes over, I think, 8 weeks. 10 classes over 8 weeks. We'll do 2 Saturdays. So the guarantee that we get into the house there with the students. If we relied on being able to do it in the evening during class, those days get really short. And so $110 and you get part of the textbook during the class, but if you're to buy the textbook, you don't have to have take the
show up, of course, by the time they close, something where it's closed. And we've been having a good time with class. It's limited to 15, so we'll never have more than 15. And 2.5 hours per night, so very comprehensive class. And then at the end, Alan will come and give the written test. So that if you haven't started these yet, and get these in the spring, you'll be all set to do the practical, or if you've already got these, probably not the practical, I'll send it to the class, be certified pretty quick.
Or you can come out here and work in our apiary and take the test and, get your experience working our
If
apiary.
they allow you to register right up until the day of classes, and after that, then we'll, so, is it open now? I just registered.
Thank you, Chris. Okay, so motion to adjourn,
I make a motion to adjourn.
we're adjourned.
We come collecting all of the chairs and tables, but
It's much of that. Thank you, Chair.